Alright, so I enjoy making sausage recipes and I'm kind of tired of my book, so I went on the internet and I found a Southern African recipe called Boerewos. So we're going to give this a try today. I hope you enjoy it. I had a lot of fun making it. Sausage casings. They come salted, so we just got to pull one out of here. You can usually get a few pounds per intestine, but you just got to work on getting it out. You want to take out a little more than what you're actually going to need, just in case you don't want to run out and not have enough casing to get the sausage done. You want to soak these at least 15 to 30 minutes just to get them loosened up, softened up. So first you're going to get these out and you're going to rinse them, and you're going to fill it with water to flush the inside as well, and then you'll soak it in a bowl of ice water or just cool water. And once you think you've got enough, you can just cut it too. So you get some cold water running, rinse off the outside, and then you open up the end of the casing and fill it with water. It'll just take some time to get it to work through there. So you put it in your bowl, and it helps if you leave your ends hang out over the side so you don't have to go fishing for them later. Okay, so we're going to use venison. That's the darker meat here. We got a deer last week. And then pork. We use pork shoulder because it has fat in it, about 20% fat. It'll help make the gaminess of the venison go away. So we're going to use 2 pounds of venison and 1 pound of pork. So now we have the spices. So we're going to put in a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of ground coriander, 1 tablespoon of salt. I'm going to use kosher salt. A 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. That's ground up. A 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. A 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. And 1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves. That's it. We're going to give it a little stir. And then while we're grinding the meat, we're going to leave this in the fridge to get nice and cold so that we can mix into the ground meat. Turn on my scale, measure out 2 pounds of to-be ground venison. So we'll zero out the scale. And I already cut the meat into long slivers so it feeds into the grinder pretty well. We want to hit 2 pounds here. About 2 pounds. We add 1 pound of pork to it. Much. That's pretty much 3 pounds. So we're going to lay this out onto a freezer tray or a cookie sheet, and I'm going to put it in my deep freezer to solidify the meat. You just want to get it in there long enough for the meat to kind of crystallize but not be completely solid. It helps it go through the grinder a lot better.
2,000 years later.
Pulled the meat out of the freezer, had a few younglings on the way, pulled the spices out of the refrigerator, And now it's about to get a little noisy. We're going to turn on the grinder, feed through some of the pork, some of the venison, alternate it to help grind everything and mix it all together. I like to cut all the meat into ribbons so you don't have to use a stuffer and feed everything in there. It makes it a lot easier. So the last bit, to help get the meat out that's stuck in the stuffer here, you just force some bread down in there, and then as soon as you see bread coming out, you just cut it off and toss the bread out. But that'll get all the meat out so you don't have leftovers in here. You just throw the bread out. The meat is all stirred up. It's rested for a little bit. We even fried a bit up and it was very good. So we're going to put it into the stuffer. It's a 7-pound stuffer. We got 3 pounds of meat here. So just pack this down tight and we'll wet down the whole area and get started. Right now we want to make sure the whole area is clean because we'll put some water down here, put it across the sausage stuffer horn, and that way we can make a nice coil with the meat and get everything nice and smoothly done. So now we want to lower the ram down until we get a bit of meat right on the end. There we go. And then we'll take some water and we'll wet the sausage horn. And then we'll open up this casing. Sometimes it's a bugger, but you get it open and spread it over the horn. Sometimes it helps if you put some water on the inside to keep it lubricated on there. And if it binds on the top, you just pull on the bottom a little and you just keep yanking it on there. It takes a little bit of work. But once you get it on there, you can just start yanking it straight on all the way to the end. It's okay that water's slopping all over. We're going to use that to help the coil smoothly go. And at the end, we're just going to tie a knot, just a simple knot into it. There's the knot. We'll just take some water and wet down the area so that the sausage slides around nicely. Here it helps if you have 2 people, but you just fill the sausage so that it's kind of tight, and you can hang on to it a little bit and it'll force itself out. You don't want to pack the sausage too tightly, or it'll burst while you're cooking it. And you just keep going all the way to the bottom and spinning the sausage around until you hit the bottom. 3 pounds isn't going to get us very far, but it'll be enough for a nice little barbecue. If it happens to burst, it's okay. You just tie it off, give it a twist, and then keep going with it. Not a big problem. It helps having 2 people, but you do what you can with what you got. And there we hit the bottom. So here you just seal that off, bunch it up a little bit, give it a twist, cut it off. And when you take this apart and clean up whatever's left in the feed horn, go ahead and make a patty and enjoy your results. Have a good one, guys.